Whew, what did the full pack today is a good day because Last of Us Season 2, Episode 5. You already know the deal. We about to review this bit. I'm hyped up on energy drinks because I am deep cleaning this house. Spring cleaning, or I guess it would be called summer cleaning. So I am drinking as many energy drinks as possible. Oh baby, let's go. So, first off, amazing episode. Let's get to that in a bit. So, I forgot how this episode starts actually. Shit, wait, how does this episode start again? Oh, if I remember, I believe it starts off with like some weird meeting with the WLF and one of the leaders, and it was like explaining that spores are now a thing. So this woman is like explaining why she had to kill her own people. And basically the woman was explaining that her friend breathed spores, which, if you inhale one bit of spores, the lungs are like the nesting ground for the fungus. So, you breathe even one little speck of spore, you're done for. And he was like coughing, and he was like, it's in the air, and the girl had to kill her. Then we cut to Ellie and Dina. They're walking around they're like walking around the thing. They're walking around the place. And Dina is like doing something called the triangle method for tracking people down. And Ellie wants to help, and Dina's like, yeah, you're not helping because you aren't exactly, tech savvy. So then Ellie's like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go look around, and you do all of that because you're the smart one. So Ellie goes around and is in the main movie theater area, and she sings the iconic Future Days. I didn't know if they were gonna do that. I'm gonna be real, I was worried that they weren't gonna do the Future Days, even though it was a massive part of it. So, and we'll get to the Future Days part in a bit. So then Ellie and Dina are going to this building. Or they go into a building, and I forgot why they're there. Probably just like scouting for Abby still. And as they're walking, they see a bunch of dead Seraphites. And Ellie is like, I shouldn't have brought you here. You're pregnant. So already I'm going to say that they do handle the emotional part of Ellie and Dina better, in my opinion. Because like we see a lot more of like realistic emotions, like Ellie having regret for bringing Dina along, which we don't see in the game. But Ellie's like, yeah, I shouldn't have brought you here. We can go back if you want. And then Dina's like, no, screw that. And she like explains her first kill. And her first kill was retaliating against the man who killed her family. And Dina is like resonating with Ellie about how she feels. She said that if the man got away with killing my family, I would have hunted him down for the rest of his life. So then they keep walking, they find the area, they go into the basement. And she's like, and Dina's like, no matter how many infected are in there, we've dealt with this before. And it's not going to be some massive horde, otherwise the WLF wouldn't have just let this place go. So it's not going to be a horde. But in case of anything, don't gunsling. Do not go gunslinging in there. The guns are last resort, which, like, I guess, like, I don't understand why we need to set that precedent now. But Dina's like, you're crazy. And normally I like that. I love that you're crazy. It's one of the things that I love about you. And we get this such an adorable scene, dude. We get this adorable scene of Ellie just like blushing that Dina admitted that she loves Ellie. It was just so adorable. Oh, I love their chemistry. I take back everything I said about the first episode. I think that Dina and Ellie is handled way better than it was in the game, because in the game it does not set up anything. They do not set up Ellie and Dina at all until like midway through the game. We get like flashbacks of their relationship, but we're just immediately supposed to accept that they're together. So, just saying, I think it's handled way better in the show than the game. Now, could be wrong. Or, I'm not wrong. It's an opinion. But, you know what I mean. People are going to have their opinions about the show. People are going to dog on the show no matter what. So people are going to think that I'm stupid for saying that it's better. But, like, you got to admit that they're pretty cute in the show. So, enough about that. They enter the area and they hear nothing until the reveal of so many stalkers. There are so many stalkers, and Dina's like, what the hell was that? And Ellie reveals that she was bit by a stalker before. and then she's obviously like, or Dina is like, yo, what? And she was like, what, am I supposed to tell you? I would have been dead by now. But yeah, so that whole scene plays out of the reveal and everything. And then there's a reveal that it's basically an entire horde of stalkers, which I hate stalkers personally. I hate them. Because like it messes up your entire flow, because now you're the one being hunted rather than you know what I mean, right? But anyway, Ellie's like, I'll distract them, you do this and that. And then Dina's conflicted because she's like, because like obviously this is dangerous, but then Ellie's like, listen, I can get bit a million times, you cannot, you need to go. And then they kiss, and again, I'm gonna say it, handled better than the game. I think the scene I think the I love you scene is replacing a scene in the game where Dina says, or it's either Ellie or Dina call the other babe, which is like a massive thing. It's like, whoa, they're serious. So I think that's what this scene is replacing. So then all this unfolds. Dina goes into a cage and there's stalkers ripping the thing apart, which, good lord, they are strong. But Anyway, we the stalkers are like on top of Ellie, you know, trying to obviously bite her. Then we get the reveal that Jesse saves them and kills all of them. And I don't know how I like this reveal. I'm going to be honest. I think. How did they reveal it in the game? Oh, yeah, they revealed it like way early on. I don't know how I feel about them revealing it this way. Because it feels like they just brush it off. Like, Jesse just makes a sly remark that, like, no, I didn't come alone. I came with Tommy, but he's off doing his own thing. Which I don't know how to feel again. And Ellie's a little bit pissed off. I don't know why Ellie's so mad at Jesse and why Jesse is so mad at Ellie, but like when they're in the woods, Jesse was like, okay, after this, we're going home. And then Ellie's like, no, fuck that. I came here for a reason. And Jesse was like, Ellie, listen. And Ellie was like, no, you listen. We were doing just fine until, and then Jesse's like looking at her like, until what? And then Ellie was like, until we weren't. So, again, I don't agree with how they're going about the whole Jesse and Tommy thing, because it feels like they're going more after, they're more going for Ellie rather than to avenge Joel, which I liked the bloodlust Tommy more, but that's just me. But then we get the reveal of what the Seraphites are actually about. There was this weird guy that sounded like a fucking wrestler. He sliced somebody open with a sickle. And that was one of the most gruesome scenes ever. And then Dina gets shot with an arrow. I thought that this was insane. I was like, oh shit, Dina has plot armor because she's pregnant, but hell no. Of course not. What was I thinking? So then, as Ellie is like escaping the Seraphites, she sees the hospital and is determined. So then she's sneaking through the grass, and then a dog is like chasing after her, and then Ellie sneaks into the hospital via a hole in the wall. And then the guard's like, oh no, the dog's going after some like rat or something. So then we get the iconic scene of like Nora doing surgery. She's like getting stuff ready. And then the scene plays out exactly like the game, except we get more emotion, which again is a highlight of this show, is that we get more emotion out of the characters. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker. They were working with what they had. But I feel like they have more time in the show to flesh out emotion. Because Nora's actually genuinely, like, she apologizes for Ellie having to see that. She even apologizes for what happened to Joel. Nobody should die like that. Which was surprising. But then she did say that little bitch got what he deserved. Throws like some chemical at Ellie. I assume it's just like some acid to like burn skin, not to like, you know, burn skin, but like just to make it sting a little bit. So Ellie running after her and everything. Ellie has massive plot armor because how did she not get shot? But then they get to like an elevator. Nora goes into the elevator. The elevator falls down into the spore area. And this is the first time we are actually seeing the stuff with Ellie, where we're seeing like the spores and like the overgrowth of everything. I believe this is the first time we are seeing that. And Ellie is just like, oh shit, what is this? And she hears Nora coughing. I actually kind of prefer, I prefer the show's portrayal of the spores, mainly because it shows that like the spores are made by infected that were taken over. And the zombie, the infected people are breathing the spores as if they're like dispensers. I like that a little bit more because it makes sense. Because like mushrooms, from what I know, don't breathe. So, yeah. I always thought that so if you play the games, you know that there's like these little straw things that protrude out of like the ball of spores, if that makes sense. I always thought those were producing the spores because like there's like pores all around that little like orange tube, and those are protruding the spores. But I like it better in the show. So then we get the iconic scene of Ellie interrogating Nora. But I will say they handled the show, or they handled the game better. I think the interrogation scene is better in the game. Here's why. Because this just shows that Ellie is like more psychotic than making her actually a hero in this sense. Because Nora just is simply saying, no, I'm not going to tell you where Abby is. Ellie keeps repeating and asking where Abby is, and Nora's just saying no. I think it's a lot better for Nora to explain why the hell would I tell you where Abby is if I'm already dead, and Ellie be like, because I can make it quick or I can make it so much worse. I think that's better than just Ellie simply killing her to kill her, you know? And then after that scene, this is the shock of the episode, we get I'm assuming flashback, and I'm assuming that they're going to do a flashback filler episode. You know how much the internet loves filler episodes, because, you know, you can't have substance in a show. It has to be constant storyline. People are going to complain about next episode if it's just an entire flashback episode. But I think that this flashback episode is going to have our future days in it. It's going to explain how Ellie started singing that song in the theater, because it just came out of nowhere, so there has to be some type of explanation for it. And bro, it's just, I love this show. I love it so much. How would I rate this episode? Honestly, I think, was it better than last episode? I don't know. I think it's like 1 point. I think it's 1 point better. Only because it has one of my favorite scenes in it of Ellie just going ham on Nora. Bro, I'm so excited. I am so excited for this, dude. I'm excited for next episode, honestly. A part of me hopes that they make Ellie encounter the Rat King, and then obviously if they do Abby, then, you know, there's that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited, personally. I'm extremely excited for next episode, and I just cannot wait. Anyway, that's it. See ya.